First of all, being a lady in a Mennonite community and starting a business, it's not something that you hear of every day. It's going to be hard, no matter how much you want it, but it is that passion, that desire that's going to carry you through.
This season was brought to you by the Belize Public Utilities Commission.
Did you know that the purpose of the Public Utilities Commission is to regulate the electricity, water, and telecommunications sectors in Belize to efficiently provide the highest quality services at affordable rates, ensuring the viability and sustainability of each sector. For further information, kindly visit our office at Marina Towers, 2nd floor, number 4 Princess Margaret Drive, Belize City, or our website www.puc.bz. The Public Utilities Commission. We continue to serve you with efficient and diligent services.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I am your host, Mervin, and it's a pleasure being with you today. On this episode, we have the privilege and the honor of speaking with an entrepreneur, female entrepreneur from right here in Belize. I've personally been inspired by her journey, by her story. She's in the health and holistic space, and her company, Shining Star, based in Spanish Lookout, is doing amazing work in helping people come to wholeness, helping people in their health journey, helping people become balanced on a whole in their life, whether it's in their physical life, their spiritual life, their emotional life. They're committed to walk with you, right? And so today, I just want to welcome Miss Clara to the screen and just give her an opportunity to talk and share with us a little bit about who she is and what all she's doing.
Hi, yes.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. Welcome to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. We've been talking about this for a while, and I am very excited that we get to connect and we get to have you on the show. You know, it was funny because as we were preparing, one of your comments in your information that you submitted was like, you don't like talking about yourself. But today we're putting you on the spot where you get to talk about yourself, because often, you know, it's and I love that, because it's that humility of we're serving and we're helping others, and it's not so much about us, but it's about others. But today it's about you, and I really want to highlight your story and your journey and what you've been able to achieve with your life, right? And so, yeah, tell us a little bit about who you are. Tell us a little bit about your background and kind of how you got into the health space that you're in right now.
Okay. Well, yes, once again, thank you for inviting me to the show. And it's something I have looked forward to for a while, because I saw it was a good space and a good audience that you have here. So I really hope that I can be an inspiration to somebody out there, someone like me or not like me, however you are. I just want to be an encouragement to somebody today. So yeah, about myself. I hate talking about myself, but here we go. So I was born in Spanish Lookout. I grew up here most of my life. And from a very young age, I knew that I had a niche for, how should I say, helping people in a, medical form or health form. Whenever somebody was hurt, I was always the first to respond, at school or wherever. And from there on, my teenage years, of course, when I met Jesus, that passion just grew, because it turned into saving lives, as in saving lives, in a medical way, helping people survive, and then also to be able to tell them about Jesus. And so at the age of 17, I became an EMT. And of course, my parents didn't think that I was ready for something like that at the age of 17. But I insisted, and I made myself clear that it was not an option to say no to this. So I did it. And then even through high school, I was on call during weekends. So I worked on the ambulance for 5 years and got a lot of experience there. And my passion just, took off from there. And I eventually did get married, have 2 kids, and did a bunch of online courses here and there and everywhere. Wherever I could get my hands on things, I would do online courses to just educate myself or to, gain more knowledge. I've read lots of books. And so eventually, of course, I thought that this would never happen because I now had kids and I was a mother and a housewife, whatnot. My husband was successful. We had a great business. We had built our farm, built our business, built whatever. And I just figured, it's just not going to happen. But then I realized, it's like there was such a burning desire or a passion inside me. And I read this one little quote, and it's still there today. It said that if God has put a passion inside you, it's like a lion inside of your soul or inside of your heart. And so you have to decide to either chase the lion or allow the lion to devour you. And I just felt that to be so true for my life, because it was like, it seemed so impossible, yet it was just so real. And I could envision things to become reality, but yet I had no idea of how it all would become a reality. But I know exactly what that phrase meant. I was either going to chase that lion or I was going to let it devour me. And so I even got to the point where I said, you know what, God, shut up, go away, stop giving me this passion to do this, because I can't do this. I can't. There is just no way. And so then pretty much a year or 2 after, I just, I tried to just put it all away and told God to shut up. Doors started opening. I started meeting people. I started connecting with people. I started traveling to internationally, and I started to connect with doctors. And, the doctors were all passionate about helping me with what I'm doing or with my desire to help people. And of course, they were desiring to help people. So if they could help people through me and this and that and the other. And I learned so much firsthand from them. So anyway, that's kind of how the business came about, and I just started. And it's
awesome.
kind of like one day at a time, and here we are today.
Man, that is amazing, Miss Clara. I love that story. There are several things in that story that I love. One, from a young age, you kind of like, this is what I'm going to do, and this is the call on my life. This is the passion, the purpose, really, that's on my life. And even when your parents was, initially they weren't all supportive, but there was that thing inside that says, I was wired for this, I was made for this, and I'm going to go after that. I think a lot of people out there, they have that inner drive, they have that inner passion, but they're kind of waiting for validation. They're waiting for someone to say you can do it, rather than just get up and know that's with them and they go for it. So speak to someone out there who might be sitting on the sidelines, kind of waiting for validation, maybe waiting for some approval, waiting for someone to say that go for it. Speak to that person to help get them off the bench and get them into the game and on the road towards their passion and their purpose. What would you say to that person to encourage them?
Well, that's an excellent question, because, really, for the first thing you need to do is to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, I can say all I want to say, but you need to believe in yourself, and you need to believe that this is what you want. It's going to be hard. No matter how much you want it, it's still going to be hard. But it is that passion, that desire that's going to carry you through the hard times and the good times. And so I would want to encourage each and everybody out there that has this desire to do something other than what they're doing. Like, for example, if you're stuck in a place where you're not feeling fulfilled, or you're not feeling like this is where you belong, or this is not where you're, well, feeling fulfilled. And we all want to feel fulfilled. We all want to be doing what we're supposed to be doing, because otherwise we live a life of frustration, and that's not worth it. Life is way too short to be living frustrated. So, you have it in you. If you have that desire, if you have that passion, and most importantly, if you were born with a gift, or born with a talent, or born with this passion and the desire, it's God that put it there, and He will see you through. So you have to believe that you are created for it, and then just push for it, because it's going to happen. If you start taking little steps in faith toward that goal, God's going to open doors. It's just amazing how things line up. And it's also, I believe, if you want to say, the energy out there is, you create the energy that this is supposed to become a reality. Things will come your way. It's just inevitable.
That is awesome, and I know someone's encouraged by that. I know I am. Miss Clara, let's look a little bit about on your business that you're in, Shining Star Health Center. In Belize, I know growing up, a lot of the go-to medication was natural stuff. Every weekend we got, Cerase, we got purged out, as we would call it here in Belize. If something happened, get some bengue, get some herbs, and that was the culture when we were younger. Even when I was younger, I'm not that old. But now it seems that the first go-to is now more the pharmaceutical medication, and I'm not knocking that. I mean, to me, everything has its purpose. But talk to us a little bit about why holistic, why natural medication. What's the value in that, and why would you encourage our people to, I would say, start there? There first, because I believe that's a good place to start. And then if you're not getting results, then you move on to other options, right? So why would you encourage people to start there? And would you say start there? And why this field that you're in?
Yes, good point there. And I do also want to mention that the medical field has its place. When you're in an emergency or having a heart attack, that's not the time to be taking an herbal remedy. You need something more than that. So everything has its place. But so what my passion is, or my desire is to do, is to get people aware of that there are options to a better lifestyle. Because so many things, for example, diabetes, if you take the medication that the doctor will prescribe for diabetes, it has symptoms, it has side effects, and it'll damage other things in your body. So why would you want to do that? You don't want to do that. You're trying to fix something. You're not trying to just suppress symptoms. So yes, we do need to have a good lifestyle. We need to exercise. We need to sleep good. We need to drink enough water. We need to have good relationships. All those things are very important. I always say those are the 4 key aspects to a healthy lifestyle, or a healthy life altogether. Doesn't matter what your problem is, but those things are key, and they need to happen no matter what the situation is. And then from there, you can go to natural remedies. And there's amazing things out there that can help you. And it's a lot of people think, well, natural remedies won't do enough. That may be true if you're using Google. So when there's something more serious happening, you need to talk to somebody that's educated in this area, or that has experience, because there's a lot that you can do. And if you do it right, natural remedies can be very, very effective. And like Mervin already said, this is what they've used for hundreds of years. And it's just that the Western medicine has somewhat brainwashed everybody, or has, it's taken over to a very big degree. And it's sad because so many good recipes and remedies have been somewhat lost or fell through the cracks. And so we need to bring that back. And another thing is, no, I'm not a bush doctor. I do respect bush doctors, but I am very careful. I'm very careful with what people take, how much, and all those things. It's not like, oh well, let me go take a walk in the bush and I'll figure something out for you. No, that's not how I do things either.
You know, I love what you said just now, and two things I want to pull out. Google, great tool, great resource to find information. So you know, we're not knocking Google, but you know, nothing beats experience, and there's a lot of situations, especially the culture we're in now because of technology. The first go-to now is online research versus the person that's been doing it for years and getting results for years. So experience is still valuable. That's what I heard in what you were saying, and I'm saying that even for companies and for people out there, like, experience goes a long way.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that I keep mentioning to people as well, is that you know, I may be new at this in a sense, even though I grew up with natural remedies, and my mother was always the one giving us natural remedies. We hardly ever went to the doctor. It just wasn't a thing that we did. Mom always had a way to figure something out. And of course, we never had any emergencies. I never had any near-death experiences or anything because we believed in natural remedies. It was nothing like that. So it was always, I guess the worst case scenarios that I had was needing stitches, falling off a bike, or chopping myself with a machete or something. You know, you got to get stitched. So
you're bringing back memories from me there. You're bringing back memories from me there.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a major machete chop when I was younger. I was chopping the yard, and I was trying to trim a hedge that, you know, and when I went to swing to trim the hedge, it missed and slipped right into the foot. So yeah, I do appreciate medication. I do appreciate doctors who have mastered stitching, because if not,
Yes.
I could have damaged my foot.
Yes, exactly. And where I was going with that was actually, you know, I have all these doctors. I'm connected with multiple doctors. Sometimes it's even too many. I don't know who to contact because there's so many that I've connected with. And so what I do is, depending on who walks through the door, if it's, for example, something in the brain, well, then I contact a neurosurgeon who is doing things with a holistic approach. Or if I have someone walk in with an autoimmune disease, well, then I know I have multiple doctors that I would connect with in that situation. So no, I'm not alone in any way. I'm also connected with doctors in Belize. So it's like a network. I very much believe in networking with other people that have experience and knowledge in every way.
That's great. You know, Miss Clara, and I was about to say Dr. Clara, because but you know, even in your field and what you're doing, and you've said it, you've connected and network, collaborated with a lot of people. What does that look like for you? Because, you know, many times we start our ventures, we start our company, we start something, and we do feel alone. But we come into a space where it's time to start collaborate and bring others in. So what are some of the things that you look for? What are some of your just your mindset when you're thinking about maybe having a partner, having someone collaborate with you, having someone journey with you as you're building out this vision?
I have thought of that. I've always somewhat avoided that thought because I guess I'm a very independent woman when it comes to something like that, and quite stubborn too. If I want to carry something out, I'll do it. I'll find a way to get it done. There's no stopping me. Which brings me to an interesting point. There have been multiple times where I could have given up, but it was never an option. Because I knew, going back to where I was before, no, you know, this passion hasn't died. It's just because there's struggles. It doesn't mean I'm gonna close down and go home. No, because the same thing is gonna happen. I'm gonna be there, and this passion is going to start waking up in me again. So yes, there have been times, difficult times, like, for example, financial things. Not knowing, will I be able to pay the bills? Will there be enough to pay the employees? All those things that come with owning a business. You're responsible at the end of the day to make sure, everything gets paid and you meet ends, And so there have been those days, and I'm always there. I just take a moment, a quiet time, and I reflect on things, and I try to come up with ideas, or even talk to the staff and say, hey, what can we do? What can we do? And something came to me about a month ago, and I kind of went out and I went visiting people in different villages to get them aware of that we're here, basically. And it totally paid off. And it was so much fun for me to go visiting people. And so it was a fun time. It was advertising time, and just networking again, getting to know more people out there, business people. And they, others were asking me, so what are you doing out here, all the way out here? I was just like, well, I'm advertising myself. I'm meeting new people. I'm just, getting out there. And like I said, it paid off. I got busy like the next week, and we're still, we're still reaping from that. So for myself, I just had to step out of that shell, because for me, it was a hard thing to do. But at the end of the day, it was so rewarding, and I felt so good just having done it, not knowing what the rewards would be from it. But it was coming out of the shell, and then at the same time getting more customers. So you have to, and you actually inspired that in a sense, because you had finished my website, and you're like, all right, Clara, it's time to shine.
It's time to shine. Yeah.
I was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah. I love that. And I wanted to talk about this, and you've brought it back again. And guys, I said this, and I always say this, a lot of what you can pull out of these times are caught, and not so much taught. So you got to listen for those lessons, listen for those tips and those nuggets. And I want to take a moment just to pull out some of what I'm hearing. One, from what you shared just now. One, don't give up. Don't quit, keep pressing on. So we know that, we've established that. We know if you're going to move forward, you got to keep moving on. Two, the buck stops with you. As the boss, as the leader, the founder, the buck stops with you. So you got to find creative solutions. You got to think innovatively. You got to push. But I love what Ms. Clara shared just now. She said she talked to her staff, like, hey, what can we do about this? And I think it's important to include others into that process and bring them into the process. And you got to market. You want to know why all the other the pharmaceutical stuff, all of that is known? Because they market. They're out there. And so if you're gonna be known, if you're gonna be an option in people's mind, you gotta be in front of their face. You gotta be in their minds. You gotta be in their heart. If you can get in their heart, you're there. And part of that, I love what you shared just now as well. You gotta network. You gotta get out there and meet the people. That is bold, getting out of your office and just really going out there and meet the people and get to know them and get to talk with them, because then it's really down to earth in that sense, right? So I wanna switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about just operations day to day in office at Shining Star. More specifically, and this is what we saw, because we had the privilege of working with you and your team, and we got to watch you at work. And one of the things that really inspired me was just how you worked with your staff, how you empowered them, how you trained them, but then also how you allow them to get immersed in the product. So when they're talking about it, it's not just a product that they're reading about. They got to do it. They got to do the spa. They got to do the health process. They got to eat the food. They got to go through the different services that you offer. Talk to us a little bit about that, and what's the bigger picture in your mind, and why you go that approach.
Yes, well, I guess it's one way of advertising, to have the staff do what you do, or to go through the treatments and the services that we offer here. And even more importantly, like, for example, if a patient comes in and they're having a hard time doing the treatment, what better way to encourage them than to say, well, you know what, I've done this, I've made it through. It is hard, I understand, it is painful or it is uncomfortable, but you're going to be okay. I did it, you know. And if a patient knows that they, you know, oh, the staff does this, like, really, you know what I'm going through, like, you can feel for me. It's the best way to bring a patient comfort, to know that they're just not, for example, if you go somewhere and you don't know if they've had the experience that you're having, like, I don't know, some people, they have bad experiences at the hospital, for example, the childbirth, you know, and there's these young nurses that have never had babies, and they're giving them instructions, or they're saying how to do things, and it's just kind of like, well, you obviously don't know what I'm going through, you know?
Yeah.
So this kind of the same idea. It's just that the patient knows that there's other people that have gone through them, and the people that are taking care of them know what it feels like. And then at the same time, why would I advertise my services if they're not effective? And if the staff can say, you know what, before I did this treatment, or before whatever, I felt so and so, and now I just feel so much better. And for example, if somebody has a headache at work, well, I always say, well, go get your ozone done, you know, go get some ozone in your ears. And 10 minutes later, they're effective at work. So why wouldn't I allow them to, you know, be at their best health? It's something that I'm very willing to invest into them.
I love that.
Because, yeah, we're a health center. We all need to be an example. We all need to have our lives intact before we can take care of somebody else. That's also a big thing, that people can see that we take care of ourselves, and we are capable of taking care of them as well.
I love that. I think what comes up for me is one of our past guests in a previous season said, you know, integrity, what I say and what I do, like, this is integrity, like, this is what I say and this is what I do. And the gap in between, the more the gap in between gets smaller, that's the integrity. People can trust your word. People can say, hey, yes, they actually, what they say is what they do. And I love what you're sharing, because yeah, you're right. The best way to do that is to empower your team, to not just talk about it, but to experience it, because they can speak from an experiential position to say, hey, I've done this, I know what it's like. And you're right, you know, someone who's never had a baby, it's harder for them to relate and say, hey, I know what you're going through, and this is what you can do, and this is how I got through it, right? And it's amazing. It's kind of creating a community in a sense, and that community is expanding through your staff. It's expanding through the values that you push. Man, it's just an amazing thing you're doing there at Shining Star Health Center, right? And so what's next? Like, I mean, you know, I've been watching. You've definitely grown and invested a lot, and you're at a really good place. What's next? What's the bigger picture? Where are you going, and where are you going and chasing this lion?
Yeah, where's the line going to take me? That's a good question. Well, you know, I have, it's amazing. I've had these, how should I say, visions. Like, some people would maybe refer to it as daydreaming. I don't know. You can call it whatever you want to. But if I have one of those quiet moments, and I'm just reflecting on my life or the future, or just thinking about things, and referring to business, I see a much bigger picture. There's a lot more that I want to accomplish. Again, how, when, I have no idea. But what I do know is that if it is what I'm supposed to do, it's going to happen, and there's going to be a way. That I'm 100% confident, knowing that there's going to be a way. If it's supposed to be, it'll be. So that's as plain and simple as that gets. So it's just, yeah. And to have that confidence is very comforting, because I don't need to be afraid. I don't need to worry. And I always say this to my husband too. I say, worrying isn't going to get you anything, because
Yeah.
it's just never helped anybody.
Yeah.
So you can be completely relaxed and confident, but at the same time, you need to press forward. You need to keep moving forward. And make mistakes, get right back up, keep going. You learn something from that mistake, and it probably prevented you from making an even bigger mistake.
Yeah.
So those things are just, the things that happen in life. And back to where, where I want this all to go is I want there to be a much bigger place, a bigger community, a bigger awareness. My desire is to also have the health center in a bigger arena, um, more space, as well as an emergency center where we can attend to emergencies. And I see this as being a very good asset to the health centers. For example, someone is has an autoimmune disease and they need a CT scan or an MRI or an ultrasound or an X-ray or blood test done or something. I don't have that type of facility that can do that. I always have to send people out and say, okay, you need to go get this done or the imaging done somewhere else, because I don't have that available. And then, for example, if we have an emergency room and someone comes in with high blood pressure or has a stroke or something, well, then they get treated until the emergency is over in that situation. And then from there, we can look at doing a holistic approach to whatever it is that they need to get arranged, whatever it then might be. Because, the two can work side by side very well. And that is what my desire is to get to in the future, to be able to have the medical side of things as well as the holistic side of things and collaborate with the two. And then, of course, to even make a community out of that, to have food available, organic foods, to have a restaurant available to the public, or even more importantly, to the patients that are there. And because food is your medicine, it's so important to eat the right things. You have to know what you're eating. Today, you go to the grocery store and you buy canned foods or chips in a bag or the juice in a bottle. Do you really know what's in there? Like, when I go to the grocery store, I think people look at me sometimes and they're like, what is she doing? I'm always checking the back label, like, what's in here? And my rule is, if you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't eat it.
I like that rule. I think I'll adopt that rule for sure.
Yes. Yep. So that's the future dream or desire, that those things, I want those things to come about. And again, I don't know when, how exactly, but what I do know is that if it's supposed to be, then it'll be.
Yeah. And how do you balance that? I mean, because I'm just thinking me, like I'm thinking about, I want to run. There's so much I want to get done. And it's balancing the pace at which you move and being very intentional at which step do I take now. How do you go about that? Like what's your thought process with that?
Well, that is something that I'm still learning very much, because I'm in this since 2018, and balancing family and life and
Yeah.
business and everything else in between. And then when do I push forward, or when do I just take care of the daily things that need taken care of? So yes, that you have to have a balance of things to know, when do we just take care of what's today? And then when do we take care of what's 10 years down the road?
Yeah.
And I would say, always have that in mind, that you're going to do what you dream of doing. Always work today as if 10 years down the road that will become a reality, or even 5 years down the road. And
Yeah.
do somewhat have a mental goal, or even put it on paper. A lot of people have told me, write down your goals, make plans, and then push for them. And yes, I'm already a pusher by itself. I'm not just gonna sit back and not do anything. But it is good to have the goals to somewhat say, all right, by such and such a year, I want to be at XYZ, and then try your best to make it happen. And if it doesn't happen, then give yourself grace and forgive yourself and say, it's okay. We're almost there. Let's add another year to it, or whatever it might be that you can do, or a month or two. And it's okay. You didn't know exactly what time it was going to happen. So that's okay to have that bumped up or even bumped back, whichever way it happens. Just enjoy the journey and don't stress about it too much. Again, don't worry.
Don't worry. We have to make that a mantra in this episode for sure. Miss Clara, I think we've been talking a lot about just inspirational truths and values and mindsets that we need to have, and this goes across board, whether you're an entrepreneur, business owner, or just in life, in work. If you're working for someone, a lot of what we're talking about is applicable. But let's talk to entrepreneurs. Let's talk to business owners. What are some of the key lessons you've learned over the years that you would say are essential for building a successful business, or taking an idea from just idea into reality? What are some of the things that you would say are key lessons you've learned from your journey?
Well, so basically, like I said, me and my husband, we had somewhat built, a successful business. And at some point in time, I did muster up the courage to ask him, can I do this? And of course, I had talked about it here and there, but just never very loudly. I'm a very held back person when it comes to something like that. And I knew he wasn't very fond of the idea. He wanted me to just, keep being a housewife and a mother to our kids. And of course, that was very comfortable for him because I was available at all times. And so, but then one day he said yes. And so I was like, yay. I was like this little happy girl, like, oh my God, she said yes. And I found a place I could rent. And I did. And it was just like, wow. I started renovating a building. It was kind of all by myself. I had never undertaken a project like this before. And I just started, I went downtown. I went shopping. I went getting sheetrock. I had a truck, a big Chevy truck I could drive. And I got my sheetrock. I got my flooring, paint, wood, whatever. Then the carpenters were there and doing everything. And it all came about. And people that walk in the building now, they're like, wow, this place looks amazing. What did you do to the place? And you turned it around, and well, from what it was before, it's beautiful. And then as far as staff goes, I had the building there, and then I can say I handpicked my staff till about last year, 2021 would be. That was the first time that I had to put an announcement in Facebook saying that we had vacancy, or that we were looking for staff, nursing staff. And so, I got a whole bunch of resumes, and it was just like, wow, okay, there's people out there that really want to work here. And I started interviewing people, and things just started falling into place. But back to kind of the beginning, it was just me by myself doing everything, taking care of the patients. And then at the end of the day, mopping, sweeping, even mowing the lawn, it was...
Oh, wow. You're really doing everything.
Yes. And that's just my character. I don't mind, that's just... I just take care of things. Whatever needs to be taken care of, I want to take care of it. So...
but that actually brings up a question for me, because then there's that transition as the growth happen, because I'm in the same boat. you're bootstrapping from the beginning. You're doing everything, covering all the bases, checking all the emails, responding to everything, and then staff start to come, and you got to start to let go and trust them to get the work done.
Yes.
And then get used to the fact that you're not as busy because you have other staff to get stuff done. And for me, that was a hard transition, like realizing that, oh, there's people here, I don't have to do it all. What was that like for you? Like, what did that look like for you, the transition from having to do it all, even mowing the yard, to having staff to get it done? And how do you keep yourself, I would say, still hands-on in a sense with the business, that you don't become detached in a sense?
Yes, that is actually that is challenging to first of all find someone that you can trust, and then secondly to hand over the responsibility and to let go and to trust that they're going to take care of what they need to take care of, and that's where intuition and discernment really comes in for me. At least I have to say I have an amazing staff. Right now there's 8 of them. So it's just, trusting your gut feeling or your instinct, or have an intuition as to, when you interview the person, you can sense, okay, is this person serious? Do I feel okay with them? No, you don't know everything about them. You get to know the person. Even if you already hired them, you still have to learn their characteristics. But what you can do is ask them the question, why do you want to work here, and how do you see yourself being a benefit to the company? That's something that's on my job application. You tell me why you want to work here, and you tell me how you're going to be a benefit to me. And if you can give me a good answer in that sense, then I want to talk to you. And then the other thing that I always tell my staff too is that I don't want anybody walking through the door for a paycheck. If you're only here for a paycheck, you might as well go work somewhere else, because I don't know why that's always been so important to me, but it's just, you need to be passionate about what you do. And then maybe it's the line of work that we do here.
I don't know if it's just, I'm the same, and I don't think it's a line of work. I think what it is, it's, do you subscribe to the vision and where we're going? Because this is where this ship is going. This is the destination we're going. And are you on board? Are you not on board? And if it's just a paycheck and you haven't embraced the vision, and somewhere along the line the money will not be enough, and you will not be giving your passion and your heart into where we're going, right? And so I think that has a lot to do with it. And I think that's a very good principle to have, as you're building out your company.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So, I mean, that's how, I guess your question was also letting go of the responsibilities. And that is something that has taken some character building for me. And I've done a lot of online things as well, signed up for coaching, for characteristic coaching. And that is very important. And I would recommend everybody to do something like that. When I did a personal coaching to figure out what are my characteristics, that was very enlightening to me. And it was like getting to know a whole new person, getting to know myself. And it was so informal, so eye-opening. To get to know yourself. It sounds crazy, but that's just exactly how it was. Because sometimes, especially back to a little bit about my background, first of all, being a lady in a Mennonite community and starting a business, it's not something that you hear of every day. It's not, it's not a bad thing, but it's not something that is our culture. Usually it would be the men starting businesses or working at businesses. The women are the homemakers, which is amazing. I'm not saying that isn't a good thing, but I'm just saying I felt like I was somewhat in a spotlight where people were looking at me like, what does she think she's doing? And so, and so building my character, even getting to know myself, was empowering, and it's something that everybody needs to do. No matter how passionate I was about fulfilling this dream, I still needed to know who I was to be able to know how people work and getting to know the characteristics of my employees. Like now, when I see someone walk through the door, I can say, oh, okay, well, they have this characteristic, and I'll be able to work alongside them because I now know my characteristics and I know their characteristics and how to work with people of such characteristics. It was empowering to be able to get to know myself. I don't know how else to put it than like that.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I think we said this, and I've said this before many times. I've seen in my own life and my own journey that working on myself is working on my business, and working on my business is working on myself. You can't get away from it. You cannot get away from that personal development process that comes from undertaking a venture like a business or any organization in that sense, right? And so, we really, from everything we're talking about, I think it's really important for us to realize it's more than just the money. It's more than just, hey, I'm gonna do this thing. It's really that desire to solve a problem in the world. And part of, as you start to solve that problem in the world, you realize you got to step up to the plate. You got to discover who you are so that we can effectively solve that problem. So I really love it, Miss Clara. Thank you so much. I think it's very inspirational what you said, and even what you just now alluded to, like, you're in a community where it's not traditional for women to be in the space that you are, and I think that's what's inspiring to me, and even motivational, because a lot of us come from background where it's not traditional for you to be in the space that you want to be. But will you let that stop you, or will you pursue it? Will you go after it, right? So a lot of us in Belize, it's not traditional for Belize to have a level of global impact. But if that's what's on your heart, go after it. You might be the first person in your family that wants to go to school or wants to travel the world. That's fine. Go after it, right? Don't be boxed in. Don't allow these circumstances to define you and say, hey, this is where you'll stay, and stay there. You can come out of it, right? As we're winding down, what's coming up for me, and I'm interesting to know, like, you've had a interesting journey, and I know it hasn't been a sprint. It's been a steady growth as you go along. What's been the most fascinating thing for you on this journey?
Well, I would say just seeing people get better. I mean, a quick little testimony. Someone came into my door a couple months ago, and they were they had surgeries. This was a cancer patient, and they had multiple surgeries already. And of course, ran out of money, didn't know where else to go, didn't know what else to do. And they came to me and they said, what do you have to offer? And of course, what I thought was necessary for them far exceeded their financial capabilities. And so I said, well, you know what, let's start with this. Let's do this and see if you can get some finances together. And then, I'll work with you, or we'll figure something out. And so they went home with a couple of supplements, and I knew this guy needed some drastic help. But he came back a month and a half later. He came back, and I hardly recognized the guy. He was so much better. His color was better. He was eating better. He was already ready to go out and work, but his wife was telling him, "No, don't overdo
Slow
it.
down.
Slow down. Take it easy. You're a sick person. Don't be overdoing this." And so they asked, can we get these same supplements? We just want exactly this. We can afford exactly this. Can we just take more of this? And I said, yes, and I didn't even charge it I just said, just take it, just use it. And they said, we have so much faith that this is going to work. And I was just like, wow,
Yeah.
That is what it takes. I always tell people that come here, you have to want it. I want it. I want for you to get better. And then
Yeah.
God is going to bless that, because you have to be the fighter.
Yeah.
I can only fight a certain percentage for you, but you yourself have to fight. And that's with life, everything. And back to what you were saying, do we allow ourselves to be identified by other people, or do we allow our own identity that God has put on our lives to be our identity, or do we allow others to identify us? So
Yeah.
do we have that fight within us to either live a healthier life, to overcome bad habits? We can have so much
Mm.
encouragement from other people. We can pay so much money to coaches, to gyms, to you name it, doctors, but they can only do so and so much. You
Mm.
are the person that has
You
to
got to
be
do
the
your
one
part.
that wants it. Yes.
Man, that is amazing. That is amazing. And I won't even add more to that. I think that just says it all. You gotta want it. You gotta be part of your answer. You got to
Yes.
be part of the fight. You got to be part of the journey. Miss Clara, what has surprised you? I mean, I imagine, you're on this journey. You're in a space that's not norm. What has surprised you the most over the years?
I would say the support I get, uh,
Hmm.
you know, having just made that step to come out. For example, doctors, I've connected with the best doctors in, for example, Guatemala City, or
Yeah.
and then people tell me, "You serious? You sat down with this guy? You had a conversation with this doctor? You have him on WhatsApp?" Or, people can't believe. And they're like, "But this person is always busy. They never have time for me, or for, and it's not true. These people are, I don't know, I guess they're inspired by my passion, and they
Yeah.
take time to sit down with me or to connect with me. And so I've never had a lack of, how should I say, people that support me. It might not be my family or people from the community, but if I step out there, there's billions of people in the world that support you. You just have to find them. You just have to make yourself known to them, and they're there. They're there for you. They want what you want. They want to see you become successful. And it doesn't mean that just because there's a couple of your close friends that don't support you, don't let that stop you. There, like I said, there's
Yeah.
billions of people out there. Just go find someone that can be your right hand person, or your friend to lean on, or your, like for me, it's doctors. I connect with doctors. I speak their language. They're my best friends.
I love it. And so, guys, I just want for those who we've been talking with Miss Clara Plett. She's the owner, founder of Shining Star Health Center based in Spanish Lookout. And what they actually do, they specialize in building up the immune system and cleansing the body and mind. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. And then when we get back, we're going to just wrap up some thoughts with Miss Clara.
Shining Star Health Center, located in Spanish Lookout, is committed to providing you with the very best holistic solution to any ailment, regardless of who you are, where you come from, or what you're going through. For more information, contact Shining Star Health Center at 672-3536 or 670-3536.
Miss Clara, I love what you were sharing just now before we took the break. You're talking about who do you connect with? You were saying that, hey, my friends are doctors, the people that I network with are doctors. Man, I think that's so key because you're talking about surrounding yourself with a community, with a tribe that's like-minded, that's going in the same direction that you're going. what would you say to someone who's kind of looking for that tribe and maybe they're having a hard time finding that tribe? What advice, what counsel, what would you say to a person like that?
Good question, because I'm still looking for more people to communicate with or to connect with. I get a lot of inspiration from, let's say, Facebook. There's a couple of people I follow. John C. Maxwell. I'm into Mind Valley as well. I've done a couple of their courses. That's character building as well as just, communicating with people. I've met people online there from all over the world. You get into like Facebook groups, and then you connect, you make a connection with them, and then it's sometimes easier to talk to a stranger than it is your best friend, because they don't know your history. And when you tell them your desires, your passions, your goals, and they're just like, wow, that's so awesome, and they have no idea what your limitations are. They have no idea your faults and your failures and your all those bad things that you don't want anybody else to know. They don't know those. So you just tell them all the passion, desire. Yeah, like I said, tell them all the good things about yourself, and they're just gonna, say, go for it, girl, do it. That's awesome. You've got it. Or so it's interesting to again, get out of your comfort zone. That's a huge thing. Get out of your comfort zone and don't let others identify you. You are your own unique person. There is nobody like you. And I tell that to my patients all the time. I say, when am I going to be better? How long is this going to take for me? I say, I have no idea, because you are you, and I don't know how you're going to respond to any of this. I don't know. And that's just the cool part about you being you. And
that's humbling.
Yes.
Honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, to anybody out there that has a desire and you feel like, oh no, I'm too old for this, it's already past, I can't do it. I knew for a fact that if I didn't try out this desire that I had in me, I knew I wasn't going to leave this world fulfilled. I was going to have that emptiness inside of me my whole life, and it was going to, it was just going to be there always. It wasn't going to leave me. And so I knew I was either going to die trying, or I was just going to succeed, and it was just going to blow up the way I wanted it to.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Miss Clara, you've been saying this word throughout this entire interview, and I want to go back to it as we're wrapping up. I want to pull it back again, even in regards to the question that I just asked. But the word passion, finding your passion. And I want to say, if you want to find your tribe, start to talk your passion. Start to talk about what you're passionate about. And people who have that like passion, similar passions, you will find them because they're vocal about it, right? And many times we use the word passion and we're thinking about these nice things and all of that. But I recently learned this. Passion is also what ticks you off, what gets on your nerves. You walk in a room, and what do you observe that just gets on your nerves that no one else observes, and you want to fix it. You want to do something about it. Like that's where your passion lies. That's the space you need to be in. And when I saw that, it really opened it up for me, because sometimes we hear passion and we're thinking fluffy, but when you walk into a room, and for me, I would walk in a room, and if something is out of order and not in the right place, it just gets on my nerves. But I like organization. I like things to be structured. I like, so it's really starting to identify that, and then you start to talk that language. And then people who are in that similar space begin to be attracted to you, and you get in that circle, right? And so, thank you so much, Miss Clara, for sharing, for being with us. I do want to encourage everyone, go to Shining Star Health Center. They're online. Their website is up. Go check them out. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. You want to follow what they're doing. They have an amazing team, amazing services. Miss Clara, around here with our office and our team, we always say treat every day like it's a Monday. And I should have prepared you for this question. But what comes up for you when you hear that quote, treat every day like it's a Monday?
Well, I would think of new beginnings. Monday is the first day of the week. So it's a new beginning. Start fresh on a Monday morning.
Love it.
So yeah, that's what comes to my mind.
I love it. I love it. And part of why we asked that is because our whole motto is treat every day like it's a Monday. That's why we have Creative Mondays, right? And I love that. So new beginnings. So even after you finish out the day, and you might feel like something didn't go as you planned, maybe you didn't hit that goal, you could start again. You can go after it again. I love that. And with that, we can close off this segment. And I want to say have a God bless day. Wherever you are in the world, we thank you guys for streaming in, for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.